Welcome to today's Explainer. We're looking at a very specific piece of technology today, diving deep into the source material provided by a longtime practitioner to completely demystify the Zapper Sweeper Plus. So what exactly is it? Well, according to the presenter in our source material, this is a home-use frequency generator. It's essentially designed to emit electromagnetic waves and frequencies. Now, just to be clear up front, we aren't here to evaluate any medical claims today. Instead, we're going to break down exactly how this device is built, what comes in the box, and how the presenter instructs users to operate it step by step.
Now, you might be wondering, how do these electromagnetic waves actually reach where they're supposed to go? It's a great question. You see, according to the source, early pioneers of bioresonance observed a mechanical phenomenon known as the skin effect. This is basically where frequencies delivered purely through physical skin contact sometimes just slide right over the surface of the body rather than penetrating deeply into the organs. It's like water rolling off a duck's back. So how does this specific device claim to bypass that hurdle?
All right, let's dive right into this. Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to meet the Sweeper Plus, peek inside the original kit, navigate the startup and settings, learn how to actually run a program, and finally, wrap up with care and maintenance.
So, Section 1. Let's meet the Sweeper Plus and look at this new approach to home bioresonance.
The presenter makes a point to note that right now, the market is absolutely flooded with alternative wellness tools and frequency generators. Tons of them, wildly different in price and capability. But they cautioned against just grabbing the cheapest option. Standard, simpler devices usually just rely entirely on physical contact. Hand electrodes, foot plates, or wristbands. And remember that skin effect we just talked about? Relying only on physical contact might mean those frequencies just don't reach deeply enough. The Sweeper Plus, however, uses a dual approach. It's a two-pronged system, combining traditional brass hand electrodes with a wearable induction loop. The presenter theorizes that this loop, which you can wear diagonally across your torso, around your neck, or near your hips, emits an electromagnetic field that allows those frequencies to reach everywhere, bypassing the skin effect to hit difficult areas like the spine or the brain.
And this brings us to a really impressive number, 4,000. Out of the box, the Sweeper Plus has about 400 factory frequencies built right into its memory. But when you connect the device to a computer using the included USB cable, it unlocks the Life Commander software. And wow, this software opens up a massive database of roughly 4,000 frequencies. Plus, if for some reason the exact frequency you're looking for isn't in that massive list, the software actually allows you to manually enter specific frequencies or frequency ranges yourself.
Moving on to Section 2. Inside the original kit and what you should expect to find in the box.
Because there are copies floating around the market, the presenter gives a strict warning here. You want to know exactly what is included in the original manufacturer's kit. When you unzip that black carrying case, you're getting a really comprehensive setup. You've got the main device itself, which runs on a rechargeable battery, kind of like a mobile phone, taking about 2 to 3 hours to charge. You get the charger, which also doubles as that USB cable for your computer. You've got the induction loop and those brass hand electrodes. But what's incredibly helpful is all the included literature. You get a short user manual, a supplement listing all those factory-installed frequencies, and 2 full books. One is a Rife frequency catalog for looking up manual frequencies, and the other is a guide on complementary natural therapies to support general body function.
So how do we actually use all these physical pieces? The source provides a super clear matrix for this. If you're targeting specific pathogens, say running a program for a cold or bacteria, the presenter insists you absolutely must use both the hand electrodes and the induction loop at the same time to close the circuit and maximize the delivery. However, if you're just running a relaxation, stress support, or sleep program, you can completely ditch the electrodes and just use the induction loop. Even cooler, if you're trying to use the device for small children or pets, where getting them to hold electrodes is, let's be real, practically impossible, you can simply run the device with just the induction loop placed about 20 to 30 centimeters away from their body.
All right, Section 3, Startup and Settings. Let's navigate that first boot.
The physical interface on this thing is intentionally simple. You're just looking at 4 main buttons, a power button at the top, a center, enter, or confirm button, and your up and down arrows. To boot it up, just hold that upper power button for a second. Now don't panic if it boots up and everything is in Polish right out of the box. That's just the default since the original manufacturer is based in Warsaw. You just use the arrow keys to scroll down and select your preferred language. Once you're on the main screen, the very first thing you need to do is check for 3 crucial icons: the battery level indicator, the induction loop indicator, and the electrode indicator. Seeing those visually confirms the device actually recognizes its components and is ready to work.
Before you even think about jumping into a program, the presenter drops some fantastic pro tips for optimizing that settings menu. First up, Bump the backlight duration up from the default 10 seconds to 15 or 20 seconds, so you aren't constantly rushing to read a dark screen. Second, change the startup delay from 5 seconds down to 0. Boom, instant starts when you press enter. Third, and this is a huge one for battery life, reduce the auto shutoff time. It defaults to 10 minutes, but dropping it to 1 or 2 minutes will absolutely save your battery if you accidentally leave it sitting around. You can just leave the volume at the default 50%. And finally, the most critical warning of all, never, ever click the format option in the settings. Unless your memory card is completely corrupted, hitting format will literally wipe all of your stored program data.
Which leads us to Section 4, running a program, from selection to sensation. Your programs live directly on the SD card, perfectly matching that printed supplement booklet we talked about earlier. The menu itself is broken down into highly specific categories. You've got pulmonology for coughs and colds, emotions for things like anger or fear, induction for brainwave states like alpha and theta, and pathogens for molds and viruses. A standout tip from the presenter here is the detox category, specifically the lymphatic drainage program. They highly recommend running this right alongside any pathogen programs to help the body actually process things. Oh, and if you have a cold, you don't even need to know exactly what virus you caught. You can just select the General Cold program, which automatically bundles the most common cold-related frequencies together for you.
Okay, you've picked your program. If it's a pathogen program, it's time for the brass electrodes. And preparation is everything here. First, take off all your rings and hand jewelry. Your hands need to be clean, totally dry, and absolutely free of any hand creams or lotions. Seriously. Lotion acts like a literal insulator and will physically block the current from making good contact with your skin. If your skin is naturally very dry and you're having trouble making a connection, the presenter suggests wrapping the electrodes in slightly moistened pieces of gauze. Once you're prepped, grab the electrode with the purple cable end in your right hand and the white cable end in your left hand. Now, listen to this massive mechanical pro tip from our source because it will absolutely save your hardware. Always, and I mean always, hold the brass electrodes so the cables point upward. A lot of people rest their hands on their laps with the cables pointing down. Over time, that constant bending and the pull of gravity will actually snap the internal copper wires hidden inside the insulation, completely breaking the circuit, so point them up. Once the program starts, the induction loop automatically fires up at maximum strength. But the electrodes? Those you have to adjust manually using the up arrows. The presenter advises increasing the electrode power until a distinct tingling or prickling feeling appears in your hands. The real sweet spot here is to use the highest level that still feels comfortable. If it's your first time, it might be a pretty low setting, like maybe 2 or 3 power bars. But as you use it over consecutive days, your physical tolerance will naturally increase and you'll be able to push that power higher. And how do you actually know this invisible field is doing anything? Check the small indicator light located right near where the induction loop plugs into the device. Whether it's shining a solid, continuous light or blinking, it really doesn't matter. As long as it's lit, you have visual confirmation that the device is actively emitting those electromagnetic frequencies. By default, these built-in programs run for exactly 21 minutes. But, life happens. The phone rings, or you desperately need a drink of water. The Sweeper Plus handles this super intuitively. If you simply put one of the hand electrodes down, the physical circuit breaks and the device instantly pauses your program. To pick right back up, just grab the electrode again and press Enter. But pay close attention here. When you pause, the device automatically drops the electrode power all the way back down to 0 for safety. You have to manually dial the power back up to your comfortable tingling level. And if you just want to stop the program completely before the 21 minutes are up, just press the power and enter buttons at the exact same time. Finally, Section 5, Care and Maintenance. Let's protect your device. Before we talk cleanup, a quick note on powering down. To turn the device off completely, you just use the power button like a back button, backing out of the folders until you hit the shutdown screen and then confirm. Once it's off, maintaining the hardware, specifically those brass electrodes, is totally mandatory for long-term use. But it's really simple. First, always unplug them from the main device. Because they are literally just hollow brass tubes with absolutely no sensitive electronics inside, you can take them straight to the sink. Wash them under running water using a mild cleaning cream, rinse them thoroughly, shake out any water that got inside, and leave them out to dry completely before you plug them back in. Why are we so picky about this? Well, because as you hold the brass, natural oils and residue from your skin naturally build up on the metal surface. Just like that hand lotion we mentioned earlier, this invisible layer of gunk acts as a literal insulator. If you don't clean them every few days or even more frequently if multiple family members are passing the device around, the electrical current is really going to struggle to pass efficiently from the brass into your skin.
Keep them clean for maximum effectiveness. And that brings us to our final thought for today. The presenter from our source material notes they've been personally using and observing the effects of the Sweepers Plus in their own practice since 2013. When you see the granular control over the frequencies, that massive 4,000 program database, and the very specific dual delivery system of the loop and electrodes, it really leaves us with a fascinating question to chew on. How might you integrate this kind of highly structured, complementary bioresonance tool into your own daily wellness routine? It's definitely an interesting look at the mechanics of alternative home wellness. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep exploring.